We're gonna throw it to the intro.
Coming to you from RKMD Studio, it's SoyaCincau presents Live and Raw, a show where we answer your questions. I'm Zamira, and tonight we talk about cheap and good phones with your host Amin Ashari and Alexander Wong.
Hello everybody, happy Friday. I hope everybody is having a good day today and everybody had a good week this week. I'm just so happy that finally the government has allowed live performances. As you can hear, we have a huge crowd in our studio today. I just want to first shout out to all our listeners on a Clubhouse. So we have the whole SoyaCincau crew in the room. Zamira, Zachary, Nick, Intan, Fatin and Najib, thank you very much for joining. A big shout out to Sean, Ying, Dane, Florence and Sophie as well for joining us on Clubhouse land. A big favor from everybody out there. If you want to listen to us on Clubhouse, just ping your friends and get them to join the fun. On today's show, we're going to talk about something that we get asked a lot. So a lot of people ask us, hey, Alex, what phone should I get for this budget that I have? Or is this phone good for this price? Or should I get a second hand or an older version of a Galaxy Note because a newer one is coming and the older version is going to be cheaper? So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the theme for today's live show is cheap and good phones, and do specs matter? So if you are in the market to buy a new phone and you're looking for like the best phone you can get for the money, or is this phone better than this one, or does this phone has a better display, or does this phone have a better speaker? This is now your time to ask, and we have all the attention to give to you to answer those questions. Also, if there's anything, any other questions that you might have that is related to gadgets or technology, this is the right platform to ask as well. So Alex and I are here to ask any and everything about gadgets and technology. Okay, so I want to go to Rory. Okay, this week, right, Alex, we had like how many phones that's been out this week?
Oh, there's a lot. There's the ROG Phone 5. That's a crazy gaming phone. There's also the Oppo Find X3. That's also another impressive Snapdragon 888 phone. And of course, there's also other phones that's coming up next soon. Like I think the Vivo X60 that's been teased recently. So that's coming out soon as well.
The first quarter of this year, we've been like inundated with phones. I think one of the cheap and good ones is probably the Xiaomi
11.
The Xiaomi Mi 11, right?
Yeah, that's like the first Snapdragon 888 smartphone in Malaysia, and it's priced under 3,000 ringgit.
And then also this year we had the Poco X3 NFC. Was that this year?
This year was more on the Redmi stuff. So you got the Redmi 9T.
Yep.
So that kind of like replaced the Poco M3. And then there's also the Redmi Note 10 that's announced like last week. So that also is a killer smartphone for less than 1,000 ringgit.
So even we're at SoyaCincau, right? The crew, we deal with phones every day. We read reports, we write stories, we do our research. Even us sometimes get like overwhelmed with the number of phones that are available for you guys to buy. And phones are now getting much, much cheaper and much, much capable. So like there's a lot of jargons for those of you who are still new to the phone thing, right? So, Snapdragon 888. What is that? And then all these names: Xiaomi, Redmi, Oppo, ROG phones. So I just want to invite everybody, especially for those who are on a Clubhouse, if you have questions about phone, what phone you want to get, what is Snapdragon 888, just raise your hands and Rory will bring you up and you'll have the opportunity to ask a question. Okay,
and also housekeeping also. That this is
Okay, what is it? What is it? The housekeeping thing that you wanted to say?
Okay, so for everyone for everyone that's in Clubhouse, just take note that this conversation is recorded and streamed live on Facebook. So if you ask a question, you'll also be shown live on Facebook as well.
Yes, that's right. This show, SoyaCincau Live and Raw, is broadcasted simultaneously on a Clubhouse and Facebook. So for those of you who are on Clubhouse, when you raise your hand to ask a question, your voice will be transmitted by the magic of internet to Facebook, to all the people who are watching on Facebook Live. And for those of you who are asking questions on a Facebook Live, we have the wonderful mystical voice of Rory Lee that will be reading out the questions for the benefit of our Clubhouse listeners. All right, I think we'll go to the first question. Do we have any questions, Rory?
Yes, we do. We have a question from Facebook.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so you get to hear my mystical voice.
Mystical.
And that mystical sound effect. I forgot about mystical
That
sound
chime
effect.
means we have a question
Yeah,
from Facebook.
we are ready.
Okay.
All right, Nav Chitty asks, which phone has the best speaker, excluding the ROG phones?
Good one.
Okay. So, Nav didn't say price. Okay, so I'm gonna hands down. Okay, not hands down lah.
Hands off.
I'm gonna go half-handed. Is that the word? Okay, 50, not 50-50. Okay, phones with good speakers. If you are in the iOS camp, I think pretty much all of the iPhones that you can get in the market today have really, really, really good speakers. I'm not sure about the Samsung phones, but I'm using the Galaxy Z Fold 2. And the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2 has really good speakers too. But I think the iPhone just edges the Samsung slightly in terms of the sound staging. So what I like about sound staging is that when you're watching a movie in stereo or something, you'll be able to hear the like an aeroplane. If there's like an aeroplane flying through the screen, across the screen, right? You can hear it properly from the left to the right. And iPhone just does that slightly better, not much better, slightly better. But the next one for me would be the Samsungs. What about you, Alex? Which phones have good speakers?
Okay, since NavGT said ROG phones, right? So I reckon that you're looking for a flagship phone at a budget of about $3,000. My money is on the Xiaomi Mi 11 because Xiaomi speakers are, I would say, they are balanced. It all started from the Xiaomi Mi 10. So they claim to have the most linear speaker. So it means the left and right channels are similar because most of the time stereo speakers on the phone, right? The bottom firing speaker, which means the bottom part of the phone, is usually louder than the top part. So when you listen, right, left side is slightly not balanced. So in terms of quality and then in terms of balance, I would say the Mi 11 is the best right now.
Yeah, I just wanna add to that because most of the time the top part of the phone uses the earpiece as well, and the earpiece is slightly less powerful and slightly less bigger than the bottom part, so the sound is not as balanced. iPhones again have that kind of like sorted out. Even the call quality is much clearer on an iPhone over much of the other phones that I've tested and used. And Nav, thank you very much for this question because it's good because a lot of people don't look at speaker performance as something that they would test when they go out to buy a phone. Most people will just play with the camera and okay, this is a good camera and I'm gonna get it, and they'll look at the display. But yes, I do encourage you, if you're going out to a shop to try and test a phone, aside from the display and the camera, try the speakers because it makes a huge difference. Okay, so I hope I've answered we've answered your question. All right,
I also
Rory.
want to add.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes, just because you have stereo speakers, it doesn't mean it's better than a really good mono speaker.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because some stereo speakers, right, they are like really quite half-hearted. They are like, we'll just make the earpiece a bit louder lah, and then it sounds a bit tinny. It doesn't sound that great. But then if people like they really put effort into making the single mono speaker sound good, it can have like better results.
Yeah, I agree. A good mono speaker is better than a crappy stereo speaker. So it doesn't mean two is better than one, but not most of the time. All right, let's move on to the next question. Before that, sorry, Roy, I just want to invite those of you who are listening to us on Clubhouse. Come on up. We want to listen to your voice. We want to know what questions you have about cheap and good phones and about specs. Do they matter? Anything? Any tips you want us to share about buying phones? Raise your hands and Rory will bring you up to ask that question. Also, invite your friends to join in the discussion. It'll be super awesome for them as well. Okay, let's go to the next question.
All right, so we still don't have any questions on Clubhouse.
All right.
But if you do, make sure don't be shy lah. Just raise your hand. Come say hello. So we'll go to the next question on Facebook. Wow, that's not in fact. So Lu Bunhee asks, Shure mic good ah?
Sure not.
Sure, might good.
I think Rory is a better person to answer this.
Yeah, I think Rory, you have like the most in-depth knowledge when it comes to all this stuff. In fact, I think most of the stuff that we have here in terms of like the setup that we use in the studio and the sound that you guys are hearing on Clubhouse is based on Rory's research and recommendation. So I'm going to hand this question over to him.
Okay, I can't take all the credit. It's a team effort.
Oh,
But
just take
yes,
some lah. Just take some.
But yeah, so the okay, yeah, I'll take some.
Don't be shy. Raise your hand.
Take my vote. So to answer the question, because this is a question and answer show, we were looking at a couple of different options. So one of them was like the Rode Pod mic. We were also looking at the Shure SM7Bs, which was like this really big and expensive microphone that pretty much everybody who uses microphones for their job will use it. But then out of the blue, Shure came out with this one, the MV7. So this is the mic that we're all using, and it's sort of like, I think 80-90% of the quality of the SM7B, but at like almost half the price. So is it good? Yes, I would say it's really good in terms of just being an XLR microphone by itself. But the benefit of the MV7 is that it also works as a USB mic. So if you see at the back here, right, they have a port that you can plug in. And then if you plug that in, you can plug straight into your laptop. They even have the software for you to tweak the way the mic sounds. There's like a touch screen here for you to adjust levels and everything. So it's very versatile. And the sound, I mean, it's speaking for itself. Well, I'm speaking into it, but you get the idea lah. So yes, is Shure microphone good? Yes, very good.
Yes, and I just want to add, when just before Rory went on to recommend a mic, I set him a challenge. I said, you know what, I want to be rid of like poor quality sounding audio coming out from our videos and also our live show, because you know we want to do more live shows and we want to make it a pleasant experience for everybody. So I set him a challenge and said, look, I want to sound good. I know I have a nice voice and I want to sound good. So don't make the mic make me sound bad. So he did the research and we settled on this Shure what's it called again?
MV7.
The MV7.
Imagine the pressure that would be. I don't want to sound bad. Walao, eh.
All right, so Lee Boon-hee, I hope we've answered your questions. I just want to give a big shout out to Andy, Annie, and Melissa on Clubhouse. Thanks for joining. Guys, those of you who've just joined us, we're talking about cheap and good phones. Are you going to buy a phone this month? Are you going to buy a phone next month? Or are you in the market to buy a phone for yourself, your grandmother, your mom, your dad, your son, your daughter? And you are on a budget and you want to get like the best phone you can get for the money? This is the best time to ask, because Alex has a whole list of phones on all prices. So if you want, you can ask him, hey, I got 2,000 ringgit. What's the best phone to get? This is the best time, guys. Okay, for those of you who are on Clubhouse, just raise your hands and we'll put you up so that you can ask the question. Okay?
Yeah, let us know the budget and what you're looking for in the phone. Is it because of the screen? Is it because of the speakers? Or are you looking for a phone with big battery? Let us know.
Okay, let's go to the next question, Rory Lee.
Okay, so today the Clubhouse people are very shy. So but the Facebook people are very active. So thank you for asking your questions on Facebook. Come over to Clubhouse. We want to hear you as well as, you know.
Yeah,
I almost said see you, but I realized that Clubhouse is audio only.
Come on over.
Yeah, come on over to Clubhouse and raise your hand. And, we have quite a nice number of people in Clubhouse. Come on, guys, ask question.
Having to listen to voice just adds that other dimension lah. And I like that connection with our fans and readers and followers. So, yeah, please do ask a question, guys, on Clubhouse.
Yeah, like it's not very often that we get to do things like this, where we get to interact like this one-on-one. I think it's, definitely come and join us on Clubhouse, okay? Ask question. All right. Let's take another question from Facebook.
Yes, let's go.
So, Samantha Go Su Pei. Any recommendations for a compact phone that can game? She also adds that she's currently using a Sony Xperia XZ2. Compact.
Okay, wait. Let's establish a baseline here. What do you think of the Xperia Z Compact, Rory?
Which one is this again?
It's a small flagship. I think back then it was the smallest flagship phone you can get. On
Yeah. I think, okay, so I've always been a fan of Sony's compact phones. Not so much like their performance per ringgit, but just because like, I think if you're talking about really small form factor phones, Sony does them the best because they really like try to do, what Apple is doing now with the iPhone 12 mini, where you have a smaller phone, but you don't compromise in terms of like performance and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that was an okay phone. Yeah.
So what do we know what's the size of that phone?
I believe it's 4.7 inches.
So Samantha is probably looking at a phone that's about 5 inches. That has a screen that has a 5-inch screen, probably 6-inch, because I don't think you can get a lot of 5-inch screens anymore.
Yes, it's 5-inch flat. Oh, I remember this phone. Yes, I remember this phone.
Okay, so then she's asking what is a good. Okay, another dimension is what kind of game do you play? Does that matter?
For sure.
So okay, can we make some assumptions here? Or maybe Samantha, you can just add in the Facebook comment, or, if you have voice on Clubhouse, we would be able to hear what I mean, we can ask you more questions now. Okay. Let's probably assume, I don't game on my phone. What's a popular game?
Okay, so like for example, maybe what's the game that you always play, Zach? PUBG. Okay, so
PUBG, COD.
Wow, Zach got so much free time play games.
Midnight.
So let's make some assumptions here. Let's say for example, if size is the important thing right now, right? If you're looking for a flagship phone that can play games very well in a small compact size, I think the best compact phone right now is the iPhone 12 mini.
No, but that doesn't game well.
Why it doesn't game well?
It's well known, right? iPhones don't game well.
iPhones game pretty well, yeah, actually.
A14 chip.
Actually, I cannot say anything because I don't play games.
So apps, in general, it's like apps work better on iPhone, which is so unfair, but it is just mostly the fact.
Okay, so
Samantha has updated.
Okay.
She plays GPS games, Pokemon Go, and Wizards Unite. Pokemon Go. Alex used to be, so for those who don't know, Alex used to be a hardcore Pokemon Go player.
Alex and Najib, our SoyaCincau BM content lead.
Najib is still a hardcore Pokemon Go player.
Yeah. Okay, so Alex is on the iOS camp. Alex is recommending the iPhone 12. If you really want to go compact, it's probably the iPhone 12 mini, but it's too small. The screen is too small for my liking, but that's me. Rory loves it.
I love it.
And I like it also. I like it in spirit because it's a niche that nobody has. No other phone manufacturer is covering. Okay, on the Android camp, who wants to give Samantha a recommendation on what good compact phone you can recommend?
I think for Android camp, I think the only clear winner right now is the Sony Xperia 5 Mark II.
Yes.
Really?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, because it's a compact phone, and not just that, it also has a 120Hz display. So for gamers, you want to have that fluid display. So you want a small screen with 120Hz. I think the only option right now is Xperia 5 Mark II. But it costs a bit high though. It's 4,099 ringgit.
Yeah, I think, okay, so the thing about size now, small phones have become, it's like a premium that you have to pay for, the same way you pay for water resistance, the same way you pay for wireless charging last time. Now you have to pay for small phone because people just don't make small phones anymore. Yeah, so, but the fact that Sony still has a phone that is small and very powerful, yeah, that's probably still your best bet. And familiar, because you're back on Sony.
Yeah, but consider this: you're paying 4,099 ringgit. I'm not sure whether it's cheaper now, but 4,000 bucks, right? Think of the other options. If you go for the phones like RG Phone 5, you can get it for like 2,999 ringgit, and that is a bigger screen. You have a high refresh rate and a large 6,000 mAh battery.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think people want the compactness and they are willing to pay for that because nobody else is doing it. And some people do appreciate the smaller screen size because big is not always better in this case.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, she's playing games like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really need like an ROG
Hardcore.
phone, you know? You could be, you're probably happy with,
Like any phone. Any phone can
SPR5.
play Pokemon Go.
Yeah, but Pokemon Go also supports 90 Hz refresh rate. So if you can get a smartphone with a 90 Hz refresh rate, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of
XPR5 Mark II.
yeah, exactly.
Sony again.
You can actually get like that extra buttery smooth. So Najib enjoys his fast refresh rate Pokemon Go experience. So yeah, Sony Xperia 5 Mark II.
All right, Samantha, I hope we've answered your question. And thank you very much for that question. Again, a big shout out to our Clubhouse listeners, those who've just joined us. I see Ahmad, Jasmine, Lena, and Simeon. Thank you for just joining the show. In today's show, we're talking about cheap and good phones. Are you going to buy a new phone soon? Do you need a recommendation of a good phone for the money that you have or the budget that you have? If you're on Clubhouse, raise your hands and feel free to ask us. And we'll be more than happy to recommend you the best phone you should get for the budget that you have. All right, let's go to the next question. Oh, Samantha says thank you on Facebook. Thank you. You're welcome, Samantha.
welcome.
I hope we've been able to provide you some useful information. Okay, let's go to the next one.
To the next question. Okay, so Clubhouse. So far, don't have anybody asking yet.
All right.
Why so shy?
So, maybe everyone's sore throat today. So that was a terrible joke. I apologize. Okay, so we'll take another question from Facebook then.
Let's go.
All right. So Wallace Destiny. Any suggestion for a phone that have a great camera with budget below 2K?
Okay. First of all, I love that name, Wallace Destiny. Yes. Phone, camera budget, great camera phone with budget of below 2,000 ringgit. Okay, generally, Rory and Alex, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Generally, I feel like the Xiaomi phones have really good camera and they have like really good prices too. Even with the like, is Poco from Xiaomi?
Yeah, yes, that brand.
I just want to be sure of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Even the Poco X3 NFC, which is like 800 ringgit, slightly below 800 ringgit, slightly below 900 ringgit. The camera performance really good. So my recommendation is any current Xiaomi phone. They are good. Their cameras are good.
Okay, for the price of 2,000 ringgit, the best option right now would be the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro. So that comes with a 108 megapixel main camera. You also get a pretty big screen, a 6.67 inch screen that pushes 144 Hz, and you also get a Snapdragon 865. It's not the latest, but it's still pretty powerful for today's standards.
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, the topic of the show also is about specs, right? Do they matter? I don't like to go into discussions with regards to buying telephones and starting them out with specs and saying, oh, this one has 108 megapixel. I'm not discounting what Alex has said. Yes, hardware-wise, it matters a bit. I guess probably 50% of it, because if the hardware is not optimized, you're gonna get crappy camera performance. You're gonna get crappy everything. What's a good example of a phone that has great hardware but crappy optimization? I think some of them are from Sony, right?
Most of Sony's smartphones, I would have to say. I'm always disappointed because because a lot of phone makers, they use Sony's sensors. And they're like, oh, then they have the Zeiss lenses.
Yep.
And then when I use it to take photo, it's like difficult to focus. The
Super
app
slow.
is very slow. And then the image quality looks really terrible for some reason. So my theory is that, okay, smartphone photography, right? People have figured out, at least the manufacturers that make good cameras, they figured out that sensor size and hardware will never compete with cameras. But the smartphone's brain is way better. So you're using the processing power to really analyze, use machine learning, and just improve the image. And that we really saw that with the Google Pixel, and nowadays with Huawei phones, Samsung phones. They're all relying on that to really take their photography to the next level, especially low light.
Speaking of which, I have with me this is the Oppo Find X3
Find X3 Pro.
Find X3 Pro. This was launched this week. I think it was launched yesterday.
Yep.
Is it available in Malaysia yet?
Nope, not yet. But it should. A little birdie told me it'll be available this month.
Okay, so if you're on Clubhouse and you want to know more about the Oppo Find X3 Pro, you can just go on over to SoyaCincau.com. We have the full report there. The reason why I'm pulling this out is, we don't have the official price, but we're talking about cameras. And this Oppo Find X3 Pro has this amazing camera. It's called a micro lens camera.
Yep.
And it's almost like having a microscope in your pocket. We'll have a post about the capabilities of this camera, and I just want to apologize to our listeners on Clubhouse because I'm not able to show you how amazing this camera is. But for the benefit of our Facebook watchers, listeners, viewers. Oh yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Okay, I'm just gonna. I don't know whether you guys can see this. Okay, to the Clubhouse people, I'm pointing the. Can't see.
Cannot see.
Why?
Focus.
Out of focus.
Yeah, it cannot
okay,
focus.
Okay, I'm putting it in my face. I'm showing a picture of a picture taken using the Oppo Find X3 micro lens. So this is a grid. You can see, right, guys? On Facebook, you guys can see, right? This is from like a sofa. Let me just show you. Okay, this is the picture. This is what it is. And the micro lens, this is what I got.
That is ridiculous.
It's amazing. Then, what my point is, like Rory mentioned, right? Camera phones cannot fight with dedicated and proper cameras because it's about the hardware, the lenses, the material itself. But what camera phones have is the processing power, and that's how they make up with the things that they don't have physically. So with the Oppo Find X3, you're replacing essentially like a microscope, and you can put it in your pocket, and that's amazing. And now phones are so much cheaper. So within the 2K budget, the best camera phone is the Xiaomi
Mi 10T Pro.
Mi 10T Pro. All right, let's go on to the next question.
All right, we have a question from Clubhouse.
Yay!
So I'm going to invite you.
That's super cool. That's super cool.
Invited you. Florence.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hi.
yes.
Hi, I'm Florence.
Hi,
Thank
Florence.
you. Hi. Okay. I have a question, but it's not related to the cheap phones. What are the difference like when we buy such as iPhones or Samsung phones from the local stores such as the Low Yat compared to when we buy them from authorized sellers such as the Machine, Switch, or Samsung stores? I mean, they are both original products, and sometimes these local stores also offer warranty from Apple itself, and they are much more cheaper compared to when we buy them from Machines or Switch. Are there any bad consequences? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Awesome. That's a really great question, Florence. I'm like struggling to process that because it sounds simple enough. So the question is, what is the difference between buying a phone from an authorized seller and then from somebody in Low Yat?
Or a dealer.
A dealer. And both of them are original and you get the warranty. I'm trying to find if there's like a catch here. Because essentially there shouldn't be any difference.
Well, there is a risk because if you buy from an authorized seller, like for example, a proper shop with a Samsung, authorized Samsung store or Machines, the authorized
like a Samsung branded lah.
Yeah, Samsung branded, and also the official Apple reseller like Machines, Switch and all that. You're guaranteed that you're buying a genuine product. But of course, because you buy from these official stores, you probably won't get discount because they have to sell at the retail prices.
Okay,
if the phone is listed at 3,999 ringgit. So you hit to buy at the full price. You get dealer, you can get cheaper deals. You probably can get extra freebies. But there's a risk because yes, I do agree that some of them they sell the authorized products because they are authorized third-party dealers. But there's also a risk that they could be selling you an AP set or an import set
And say that it's original.
Original, yeah, they're not wrong. It's kind of original, but it's not an official Malaysian product. So the risk is, if you buy a phone in Malaysia that's not from Malaysia, you might have troubles claiming warranty later on. So, for example, if you buy a phone from Singapore and you come to Malaysia and you want to send for repair, most likely the local service center will not give you the service. They say, "Oh, sorry, sir," or "Sorry, ma'am, this phone is not from our market. You need to go back to your country to have it serviced." So that's the risk.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I was just thinking too much into it. Well, some of the benefit, if you do get if you can, the number one problem is you buy from these resellers, right? The number one problem is you are not able to determine yourself whether it's original or not. That person will just tell you it's original, and you have to take their word for it. And that's the danger of it. Buying from authorized resellers, buying from the branded store itself means you are guaranteed the service. Now, Alex mentioned AP set. What does that mean? AP set is an unofficial imported set from other countries. They are brand new, but they are bought from other countries. Mainly, I want to say mostly and mainly, and then I said something else. So mainly they're from China or from
Hong Kong or Singapore.
From Hong Kong or from Singapore. So the language, it doesn't support. Sometimes, especially phones from Singapore, they have additional software for the network that for it to work in the network in Singapore, and we don't use it. So it's just bloated stuff. So I guess what we're trying to say here is that we urge you guys to buy from recommended dealers, and try to stay away from this pop-up stores and stuff like that. The margins on phones are actually quite small, probably about 50, maximum 100 ringgit on a phone. So sellers, like the pop-up stores, will try to make as much money as possible from you guys, and that means maybe claiming something that they bought cheap as an AP set as original. And they'll try to throw in a lot of freebies, like, oh, you get free screen protector lah, you get free this and free that, free casing lah, whatever lah. But as much as you can, try to avoid buying from pop-up stores and resellers like that.
Just to chime in a bit, in terms of the margins, it also depends on the type of phone. Like some flagship phones, like 5,000 ringgit, some dealers, they could have a margin of a few hundred ringgit, 500 ringgit, 600 ringgit, even more. And sometimes you can get actually better deals. So sometimes you notice like Samsung phones, after the launch, a few months later, like doing those epic 11/11 sale, you can get like 800 ringgit discounts. But what's most important is that you need to make sure that it is an official Samsung Malaysia product, official Samsung Malaysia warranty. So if you go to an official store on ground, so if you go to a shop on ground, what you can see is you can check out the sticker, whether is it distributed by Samsung Malaysia. If you see it on a different language, it could be an import set. Similarly, if you buy online, let's say you buy from Lazada and Shopee, do look out for the warranty information. Is it a local manufacturer warranty?
Yeah, and you can ask the seller whether it's original or not. If you don't get like a straight answer, like what is an example of a weird answer?
It's like, oh, sama size tengok original. Then you know that's not real.
Yeah, and these are actual answers that online sellers give. Okay, so if you see a phone, this is a good segue to what problem that we always have on online when purchasing phones online. The scammers are getting good. And if you see a phone that's like, let's say an iPhone 12, you see it being sold on Shopee, for example, and it's sold for half price. So you might think it's a super good deal, but actually 100% probably it's a scam. How do you know? Any tips, Alex? Number one is to ask the seller, ask them whether it's original or not. And if you don't get a straight answer, it probably is not original.
Yep. And also I would recommend buying from stores that are like official stores, like
official online stores.
Yeah, like Last Mall. On Shopee, sometimes they have also got the malls, shopping mall, there's preferred. And when you buy from a shop, make sure there's like a return guarantee, like a 15-day return guarantee. So let's say if they send you a product which is not as promised, you can return it back, and then no questions asked, you get the money back.
Okay, one last thing I want to add. I think we spent so much time on this question because it's such a good question. Okay, one last thing I want to add is when it comes to buying phones, you want good aftermarket support. And I've experienced Samsung, I've experienced Huawei, and I've experienced Apple. I think Huawei and Samsung are okay. But I think Apple's aftermarket support is, not to say much better, but it is considerably better. Why do I say that? There is this one thing that they can do that nobody else I've seen so far in Malaysia do. If you buy an iPhone in the US and the iPhone breaks down in Malaysia, you can send it to any authorized Apple service center and they will take it and service it for you. I cannot say the same for Samsung. I bought a Samsung Galaxy Fold, the first generation one from Singapore, and I had a problem with the screen and I wanted to get it replaced, and I sent it to a service center in Malaysia, and the official service center told me, sorry, you have to send it back to Singapore. And it was during the pandemic, and I thought, look, I cannot even get out of the country. Can't you even help? In the end, I got some help, but the thing is, if we buy phones, and these are all international brands, if I'm in the US shopping, or if I'm in Singapore shopping and there's a new phone, I want to buy it there lah. And then if I come back to Malaysia, I expect the support to be here, because an official store to me is an official store. Apple in Singapore and Apple in Switch or machines is Apple. So I shouldn't be treated differently because I'm in another country. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Florence, for that question. This is actually a 30-minute show, but we've been adding so much points that we've extended. So I'm just gonna add another 10 minutes to answer some more questions, because we got like tons of questions on Facebook. Any questions on Clubhouse? Okay. Nope. So let's maybe take two more questions on Facebook.
All right, sounds good. I do want to add on
okay.
to that point about being international, wherever you buy a phone. So there is one other brand that wants to change that, and that is Oppo. So remember the Find X3 Pro that you just took out and showed everybody, except people in Clubhouse who cannot see lah. They are actually offering something called the Find Experience, where you have international warranty. So if anything happens to your phone anywhere in the world, you can just take it to, if that country sells Oppo phones, you can just take it to them and they will, you can claim your warranty with them.
The problem is how many countries sell Oppo phones?
Quite a lot.
Really?
Yeah, like right now they're top 3, top 4, top 5 smartphone maker in the world. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Pretty cool move, I think.
I just want to give a big shout out to those who have joined us on Clubhouse. I see Firdaus, I see Nina, I see Vignesh, and I see Adzim. Thanks very much for joining. In today's show, we're talking about cheap and good phones. If you have a question about a phone that you are planning to get, and if you want to know whether it's a good buy or not, raise your hands and we'll love to hear your voice and answer your question.
Yeah, we have a question on Clubhouse. We have 2 actually.
Oh, actually? Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So shall we take one?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Oh, oops. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, Nina, I have invited you. Please accept.
Okay, we're waiting for Clubhouse.
We're waiting for Nina. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello.
Hello. Okay. I'm on behalf of Nina.
Oh, okay. Ada wakil. Wow.
Okay. Okay. Just can I speak English or Malay? Or?
Malay can. No problems.
Okay. Soalan simple je. Macam sekarang ni kan dah keluar handphone baru. Kebanyakannya chipset spek diorang tinggi-tinggi, which is 8 gram, Snapdragon stuff. Tapi how come diorang punya spek is really high, but harga dia macam boleh jadi murah, dekat 600, 500. Macam how they you understand what my question is?
How is it that telefon yang spek tinggi tapi harga murah, dan kenapa macam iPhone spek macam biasa-biasa tapi harga tinggi? Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, ada lagi nak tanya?
Itu saja. Just I'm wondering because why macam handphone saya macam just normal spec for RAM and so stuff. Tapi bila adik beli the newest one Realme, but the spec is higher than me and more lower than more cheaper. So how they standardize that thing?
Okay, I think that's
Good question.
another good question. Alex, do you want to answer that? Thank you, Nina's wakil.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Alex, go for it.
Okay, so I think pricing is something very dependent on the brand, how they position it, because like one of the subtitles that we have right now, it do specs better. Because some brands, they don't want to push on the specs. Some they push on the experience, the premium, the branding. Some they spend more on marketing. So probably that's the reason why some have different price point. Like for example, some phones that are really cheap, like you mentioned, like Realme. You mentioned, like, for example, brands like Xiaomi, Poco. Why they are much cheaper? Because they operate on a very low margin model. Like back then when Xiaomi first started, if no mistaken, they're making like less than $10 per phone. And how they keep the cost low is because they cut down a lot of unnecessary costs. Like there's no dealers, you have smaller packaging. Like Xiaomi, they don't even bundle headphones since the first day. So you get very bare minimum stuff. And how they operate is they do like a dropship style last time. So if they sell like 1,000 phones, okay, that's it. Flash sale, gone. So they save on warehousing costs. And some brands, they try to build their brand to like an aspirational brand. Like maybe they associate themselves with celebrities or singers and all that to build the brand. So that also considered as added cost. So it depends on the brands itself, how they market it. So if one high specs with high specs at lower price, you can go for brands like Poco, Realme, because those are considered sub brands. Because for the premium market, they have a higher brand. Like for example, Realme is actually the same group as Oppo and Vivo. So if you look at the specs, right, the phones, they look very similar. So they have this sub-brand to address the low-cost market. Similarly for Xiaomi, now Xiaomi is trying to be a premium brand. So for those who are looking for value for money phones, there are brands like Poco and Redmi. So that's how they separate themselves, and they have a different pricing strategy.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it's also in terms of experience. So Apple has invested a lot in terms of research and development, and also their stores and their training. That all adds to costs. At the same time, you're looking at features. So for example, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, all these features the cheaper phones don't have, and there are people who are willing to pay the extra money for these features. For me, for example, I will always. So I have two phones. It's an iPhone and a Samsung, and I will always need a Samsung phone in my pocket because I depend on Samsung Pay. So a lot of the manufacturers, especially the China brands, who are producing these good spec phones, but at a really cheaper price, almost half the price of flagship phones or premium brands like Samsung and iPhone, most of the time it's basically because they spend probably half or less than that in research and development. It's already very templated. It's almost like a formula, senang, like a recipe. All you need to do is like, okay, get the sensor from Sony, get the processor from Snapdragon, get a battery from, I don't know, LG or whatever, put it on a board, put in your operating system, and boom, you're done. And that's the reason why they are able to sell it for cheap. So majority people don't really mind that, but some do. I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, it's like flying Malaysian Airlines or Air Asia. There's a difference in terms of experience.
I don't know whether Malaysian Airlines and Air Asia has a difference. Sometimes I prefer Air Asia. Okay. Next question.
Just to also quickly chime in,
all right,
because he was asking about like how his old phone mediocre specs, but it's more expensive than the new phone, cheaper specs. So partly it's also because as technology advances, manufacturing becomes more efficient, parts become more readily available, so then there's that lack of scarcity, and then that helps bring the price down. So it's like sort of like the trickle down effect lah.
Yeah.
So that's why newer phones tend to have better value for money, and they should be expected to have better value for money. Otherwise, the world isn't moving forward.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. All right, so we had one more question on Clubhouse, but then the hand tired already, so not raised anymore. So shall we do the last question on Facebook?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, so Patrick Leong, this looks like a long-ish question.
Okay.
Don't want to spend money on original Apple accessories. Please recommend good compatible earbuds, pencil case, for iPad Air 4? Wow, this one is a 3-in-1 question.
Okay.
Good question. Yeah.
Is it a good question?
Yeah, don't buy original Apple accessories. Yeah, they're overpriced.
No, okay, wait. I wanna. Okay, case. I agree. Earbuds. I partly agree because I'll come back to why I have the AirPods Pro in my pocket and why it's paired to my Samsung as well as my Apple Pencil. I don't agree. You cannot. I don't think you can get a third degree, third party pencil.
There are third-party
Can.
pencils.
Really?
But experience-wise, maybe not so much.
Maybe you-
Logitech, for example.
Yeah.
makes,
Oh, okay. They do
function.
have.
Yeah.
Okay, then why not, Patrick? Why not you listen to what Rory and Alex have to say with regards to the recommendations, and then we'll come back to AirPods.
So for pencil, I think best experience is still the Apple,
Apple
Pencil.
Pencil, for sure.
That one, no argument. I think.
Especially on the Air 4 because it's Apple Pencil 2, which is
Second gen.
much better with
The
the
magnet.
magnets and things.
Yeah. So definitely, if you
You can swallow it
If you can
because
swallow
it's
it
like
lah.
$500.
and you really need it, that's the one sacrifice I wouldn't make. There are a handful of third-party accessory makers to make it, but you can also go the magnet route, which is you just buy those touch-sensitive pencil that is basically replacing your finger, and then that works on your iPad also. But that one is not a good experience.
It's not okay. So some people can do without the pencil, and just use like a stylus and to replace it your finger and use it like a stylus, right? You can do that. If you're not like an artist working on your iPad for artwork, or you're just using a stylus to just point and tap, perfect. Just get the cheapest stylus replacement you can get, and you're done. But if you need that accuracy, and you need basically, what else does Apple Pencil provide other than accuracy? There's no wavy magic going on, right?
But they have the tilt detection thingy, so I'm not sure the third party.
Yeah,
can
so
support
if you
that.
need that accuracy and that thickness, right? If you're doing calligraphy or you're doing artwork, you need pressure sensitivity. The Apple Pencil is the best. So it depends on your usage. If that is important to you, invest in the Apple Pencil. If not, Alex, you're looking at what, the Logitech Crayon?
Yeah, so like, okay, just to compare, right? For the iPad, the new iPad, let's say you're looking at the Apple Pencil second generation, it's going to cost you 549 ringgit. If you get the Logitech Crayon, that's going to cost you 329 ringgit. So it's a difference of 200 bucks.
That is a lot of difference
Yeah.
to a lot of people, and as long as I guess it's made for iPad and it's like a what's the word? Authorized accessories, because sometimes you can get Apple accessories that is not authorized, and that's terrible because it might damage your device. So I guess the other recommendation would be the Logitech Crayon.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Earbuds. Rory, go.
Sony WF-1000X Mark III,
Alex.
my
What?
baby.
Okay, Alex.
If you're looking for earbuds, I will go for that as well, because they're like probably the best value for money in ear earphones. You have active noise cancellation, and doing sales you can get it like less than 600 ringgit. Sometimes you can get it for 588 ringgit. It's quite steal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so cheap right now.
Okay, I'm gonna put a caveat there. I agree. The Sony WF 1000 Mark III XM3s are probably the best noise cancelling earbuds you can get in the market right now. I love the sound quality. I love the build. I love the fit. I love that they give you how many? Almost like what, a bajillion earbuds from like 3 materials or whatever. I love it. And the problem is, the caveat for me is, I can't put it in my jeans pocket. And I'm serious about this, because the reason why I've foregone the Sonys and use AirPod Pros, because active noise cancellation is important for me. I really appreciate not hearing background noise, and I really like to just have silence as like a place to just escape
Zone out.
and zone out. So ANC is important. And I've gone with the AirPods Pro because those are the most convenient for me to use. I just open it, put it in my ear, and it's done. The connectivity is simple if you're using Apple products. And
Especially if you got iPhone and you got Mac, it's easier to
Yeah,
switch.
if you have the ecosystems, it's easy to switch. And I will concede. I will say that the AirPods Pro are far inferior compared to the Sonys. Far inferior, nowhere near in terms of sound quality and ANC. But because of the convenience, I caved in and I used an AirPod Pro.
What kind of jeans do you wear? I wear like really tight, like the kind of jeans you have to peel off at the end of the day, right? And they can still fit in my back pocket.
Because I have big legs, I guess. I don't know.
Wait,
Okay.
which pocket do you put it in first?
In my front pocket. Sometimes I put it in my this coin pocket thing, and it
okay,
fits in
okay.
my
Okay,
coin
okay.
pocket. And,
Okay.
I love it like that because it's so small. The problem with the Sony's, the WF, right?
Yep.
That casing is just too big.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just too big. This one sometimes I forget that it's in my jeans pocket, and
Do you
sometimes
leave it in the washing machine?
no, I don't leave it in the washing machine because who wash jeans? Okay. Oh my God!
Live and raw.
Another amazing and fun show for those of you guys who are on Clubhouse. I hope you guys find this useful and informative. We only have 30 minutes. Of course, we try to answer as many questions as possible and provide as much information as possible. But we're at the end of the show, so I just want to give a big shout out and thanks to all the Clubhouse listeners. Big shout out and thanks to all the Facebook viewers. I hope you guys enjoyed the show as well. A big shout out to the guys behind the camera, Zachary, Rory, and our voice, Zamira. You guys want to say bye bye?
Bye. Thanks for listening.
All right, I want to say thank you to Alex as well for providing all the amazing information. I want to say bye bye, Alex.
Bye.
Oh, we have our social media manager in the house. Intan, you want to say bye bye? Come up to the mic and say bye-bye. Tak dengar Intan. Say bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoy the show. We'll be back again Friday next week at the same time to answer anything and everything about technology and gadgets. Any questions that you might have. Anything you want to know. We are here to answer that question for you. So everybody, stay safe. Have an amazing weekend. And thank you very much for watching the show. Catch you guys again next week. See you guys later. Bye. Why are you laughing?